All right, we are live. I'm back. I'm back already. I think I start to like those live shows. I enjoy the connection, also the exchanges with you guys, and I've received many messages of support, and I'd like to thank you for that. So the topic tonight, I've been thinking about the cost of Ukraine. Uh, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding, especially when it comes to European citizens. We hear very often about military aid, humanitarian aid that is going from Europe to Ukraine, and the figures roughly what we have is around $70 billion. And what I'd like to say here is that the cost in reality is way bigger because it's not a one-off. It's not 18 months of war. We are talking about the impact that this war will have over the next probably 2 decades. So $70 billion. Then reconstruction. Imagine tomorrow there is reconstruction, and EU is going to be the one actually to pay for the reconstruction. My estimate is probably in the $1 trillion for reconstruction. Then, if Ukraine is accepted into the EU, Ukraine will become net recipient of EU funds. To give you an idea, Poland is getting around $20 billion a year, just because Poland is poor, and they need to have European countries at the same level. So it's going to take probably 20 years for Ukraine to get to the level of Western Europe. So Ukraine is going to get probably around 20 billion a year. So 20 billion a year times 20 years, it's going to be 400 billion euro, just the cost of Ukraine entering into Europe. There's going to be an increase in energy costs for the next 20 years. We used to buy cheap gas from Russia. Prices were lower. Now we see Russia, Saudi Arabia, they get together, OPEC plus, and they make sure that they limit the production, and overall prices are going to get higher for us. And especially we are going to buy for the next 20 years. The gas that we miss from Russia is going to come into LNG gas, expensive, very polluting gas coming from the US. So that is going to make Europe poorer and the US richer. So here we are talking about trillions of dollars. There's going to be, for the next 20 years, an increase in military spending. To give you an idea, I mean, most of European countries, they are not at the level of NATO threshold. The minimum of spending that NATO give, the standards that they give to their members is 2%. So they will have to align to those 2%. In some cases, Poland will go even higher. They will double their military spending. So here, over the next 20 years, it's going to be trillions of dollars in increase in military spending. Then there's going to be the cost of deindustrialization. Because energy is going to be too expensive, and especially for Germany. Germany was very successful because it managed to buy very cheap Russian gas. Now, if you look at some industries, heavy, energy intensive industries like steel production, like chemicals industry, with the increases of prices, they will have to move out. So will they move out to? Probably to the US and probably to Asia and China. So over the next 20 years, we are going to pay a price for deindustrialization. The cost is going to be in the trillions of dollars. Then there's going to be a cost to be paid in terms of all currency losing this international position. So both the euro and the US dollar, they will lose the power they had just because they were so strong. We actually could rent, we could have countries financing our debt. This will not happen anymore. That cost is going to be in the trillions of dollars. Then there is a geopolitical cost. The, the collective West is getting isolated. And we see now and it's probably good for those countries, but they are getting together and they are ending our Western hegemony. In some cases, it's good, to be honest, because they are empowering themselves and they are being decolonized. So now you see a lot of EU citizens are being misled because if they knew the real cost, to give you an idea, I think it's probably way more than $20 trillion over the next 20 years. But imagine, just let's put a figure, $20 trillion. That would cost each EU citizen $40,000. Now imagine if EU citizens, they would know that there is such a high cost. And ultimately that they are going to pay for that cost. The problem right now is that we don't feel it. This is going to be gradual. It is going to be over time. We felt it actually over the last 12 months. There was a lot of inflation. What is inflation? Inflation, if your salary doesn't grow as fast as inflation, that means that, let's say, if you have zero increase in salary and there's inflation of 10%, you are getting poorer by 10%. That is part of the cost of Ukraine. Because we accepted to go into this confrontation against Russia on behalf of the US, because we are pawns. EU citizens here are just pawns. They're just following the US, and they're following actually not, again, it's not countries. We are talking about the globalist elites. The war is not only against Russia, the war is against EU. So here it's very important that really people understand that cost, we are going to feel it for the next decades and the next generations. Deindustrialization, once it's done, it is very, very difficult to get it back. So that's the main idea here I wanted to share, really, just to let people know that it's what especially to those people, I call them, brainless zombies that have their Ukrainian flags. If they only knew that what is behind this project, this movement, Ukrainian movement, is neo-Nazi. They are neo-Nazi, and it's a country that has been hijacked by the US, and probably right now the CIA is running the show. But most important is that we have so many problems in Europe. We were blinded. I mean, not we. I mean, there's a minority that actually follows their politicians and the Western media, and we were misled because they are not telling the truth about what is the real cost here. So I hope you like this very short video, but I thought it was very important for me to share these thoughts. Other than that, well, please like and share, and it's a great pleasure. And I'll do more videos. I'll try to do this almost every day. Thank you.